Africa has over 45,000 plant species, more than any other continent on Earth, and an estimated 80% of the African population still relies on traditional plant medicine as their primary form of health care. That is not a historical footnote. That is happening right now, today. Yet when most people think of ancient medicine, they think of China, India, Egypt, or Greece. Africa is almost never mentioned, and that is a massive blind spot. Because when modern scientists finally started testing African medicinal plants, they found compounds so powerful that pharmaceutical companies started patenting them without compensating the communities that discovered them. This is the most underexplored pharmacopoeia on Earth, and it may contain more undiscovered medicines than all the other continents combined. This is educational content, not medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare professional before using any herbal remedy. Today we are covering 18 African plants that modern research shows the world should not have forgotten. Stay until the end, because number 18 is a plant that caused an international legal battle when a pharmaceutical company tried to patent knowledge that belonged to the Sand people for thousands of years. Let us begin. Number 1. Rooibos, the red bush. Rooibos, Aspalathus linearis, grows in only one place on Earth, the Cederberg Mountains of South Africa. Nowhere else. The indigenous Khoisan people have brewed Rooibos tea for centuries for digestive health, allergies, and skin conditions. A 2019 review in the South African Journal of Botany found that Rooibos contains aspalathin and nothofagin, two antioxidants found in no other plant on Earth. Research has shown cardiovascular benefits, blood sugar regulation, and anti-inflammatory effects. A plant that grows in one mountain range on one continent contains compounds that exist nowhere else in nature. Before we continue, if you want more videos on ancient plant medicine backed by modern science, subscribe to the Green Domain. No hype, no miracle cure claims. Just forgotten wisdom, tested through modern research. Now, number 2 is called the miracle tree for a reason. Moringa oleifera is called the miracle tree because virtually every part of it is either edible or medicinal. Leaves, seeds, bark, roots, flowers, and pods are all used in traditional African medicine. A 2018 review in the journal Phytotherapy Research found that moringa leaves contain more vitamin A than carrots, more calcium than milk, more iron than spinach, and more potassium than bananas. Clinical studies have shown benefits for blood sugar management, cholesterol reduction, and anti-inflammatory effects. In regions of sub-Saharan Africa, moringa is used to combat malnutrition in children and pregnant women, a single tree that addresses both medicine and hunger simultaneously. Number 3. Devil's Claw, the Kalahari painkiller. We covered Devil's Claw in our pain video, but the African origin story is where this plant belongs. The San and Khoi peoples of the Kalahari Desert have used Devil's Claw for centuries, possibly millennia, for pain, fever, digestive problems, and difficulties during childbirth. A Cochrane review found it matched the prescription drug Vioxx for back pain. It is now one of the most commercially exported traditional medicines from Africa, with bulk shipments going primarily to Europe. The people who discovered it rarely benefit from those exports. Number 4. Buchu, the round-leaf miracle. Buchu, Agathosma betulina, is a small aromatic shrub native to the mountains of South Africa. The Khoisan people use Buchu as an antiseptic, a diuretic, an anti-inflammatory, and a digestive aid. They also used it as a natural insect repellent and applied it to the skin as a moisturizing body wash. European settlers quickly recognized its value. Buchu became one of the first South African plants exported to Europe in the 17th century. A 2019 review found that Buchu contains diosphionol and pelargone, with demonstrated antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and diuretic effects. Number 5. African wormwood, the fever tree. Artemisia afra, African wormwood, has been used across southern and eastern Africa for centuries to treat colds, coughs, fever, malaria, and digestive problems. Remember Artemisia annua, the Chinese herb that won the Nobel Prize for artemisinin? African wormwood is a close relative in the same genus. And here is the remarkable part. African healers were using Artemisia afra for malaria like fevers independently of Chinese medicine on the opposite side of the planet. Preliminary research suggests that Artemisia afra may have anti-malarial activity through mechanisms different from artemisinin. Two continents, same genus, same disease, independent discovery. And this is where African plant medicine starts revealing its true depth. Number 6. Pelargonium, the cold and flu fighter. Pelargonium cedoides, known as Aloabo, is native to South Africa and has been used by Zulu, Xhosa, and Mfengu healers for centuries to treat respiratory infections. A German explorer learned about it in the early 20th century and brought it to Europe. It became the basis for the drug Umaka, now one of the best-selling herbal cold remedies in Germany. A 2013 Cochrane review analyzed multiple trials and found evidence that Pelargonium cedoides reduces the duration and severity of upper respiratory infections, including bronchitis. An African plant discovered by Zulu healers is now a best-selling pharmaceutical in Germany. Number 7. Aloe ferox, the Cape aloe. While the world knows aloe vera, Africa has its own species. Aloe ferox, the Cape aloe, is larger and more potent, and has been used by South African healers for wound healing, digestive complaints, and skin conditions for centuries. A 2015 review found that aloe ferox contains higher concentrations of certain bioactive compounds than its more famous cousin, aloe vera. The bitter sap is still harvested sustainably by traditional tappers in the Eastern Cape of South Africa. Number 8. Kigelia, the sausage tree. Kigelia africana gets its common name from its enormous sausage-shaped fruits that hang from the tree. Traditional healers across sub-Saharan Africa have used the fruit, bark, and leaves for skin conditions, wounds, fungal infections, and as an anti-inflammatory agent. A 2012 review in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that Kigelia contains naphthoquinones, iridoids, and flavonoids with antimicrobial, antifungal, anti-inflammatory, and anti-tumor properties. Kigelia extracts are now used in several commercial skincare products marketed for anti-aging and skin firming. Number 9. Gariphonia, the happiness seed. Griffonia simplicifolia, native to West and Central Africa, contains something remarkable. Its seeds are one of the richest natural sources of 5-HTP, 5-hydroxytryptophan. That compound is the direct precursor to serotonin. Serotonin is the neurotransmitter most associated with mood, happiness, and emotional well-being. Traditional West African healers used griffonia for mood disorders and as an aphrodisiac. Clinical studies have shown that 5-HTP supplementation improves symptoms of depression, insomnia, and anxiety. An African seed that naturally produces the precursor to the happiness neurotransmitter. This is the African equivalent of the mucuna and LDOPA story from our Ayurvedic video. Ancient healers prescribed plants that contain the exact precursor compounds to the neurotransmitters they were targeting. They did this thousands of years before neurochemistry existed. We are past the halfway point, and the remaining plants are where African traditional knowledge collides directly with modern pharmaceutical interests. Number 10. African potato. The immune root. Hypoxis hemerocalidea, the African potato, has been used by South African healers for centuries as an immune tonic and a treatment for urinary problems. Research has shown it contains hypoxicide and ruperol, with immunomodulatory and anti-inflammatory effects. It gained worldwide attention during the HIV crisis, when it was controversially promoted as a treatment for HIV and AIDS symptoms in South Africa. The scientific evidence for HPV treatment is not established, but the immunomodulatory research suggests the traditional use as an immune tonic has a basis in real pharmacology. Number 11. Marula, the elephant tree. Marula, Sclerocarya birea, is famous for the viral videos of elephants supposedly getting drunk on fermented marula fruit. While that story is likely exaggerated, the medicinal value of marula is real. Traditional healers across southern Africa have used marula bark, fruit, and oil for diarrhea, dysentery, malaria, and skin conditions. A 2013 review found that Marula contains high concentrations of vitamin C, antioxidants, and fatty acids. Marula oil is now a premium ingredient in luxury skincare products worldwide. Number 12. Catharanthus, the cancer flower. Catharanthus roseus, the Madagascar periwinkle, may be the single most important pharmaceutical plant to come from Africa. Traditional Malagasy healers used it for diabetes, malaria, and infections. When Western scientists tested it, they discovered two alkaloids, vincristine and vinblastine, that became revolutionary anti-cancer drugs. Vincristine is used to treat childhood leukemia, lymphomas, and other cancers. Before vincristine, childhood leukemia was essentially a death sentence. After vincristine, survival rates rose from 10% to over 90%. A flower from Madagascar transformed pediatric oncology. And the people of Madagascar received almost nothing in return. Number 13. Pygeum, the prostate tree. Prunus africana, the African plum, has been used across sub-Saharan Africa for urinary and prostate problems for generations. In 2002, a Cochrane review found evidence that Pygeum extract improves urinary symptoms in benign prostatic hyperplasia. Demand for Pygeum became so extreme that the tree was placed on the CITES endangered species list to prevent extinction from overharvesting. Number 14. Iboga, the vision root. Tabernanthe. Iboga is a plant native to the rainforests of Central Africa, particularly Gabon. The Bwiti people of Gabon have used iboga in spiritual ceremonies for centuries, as a rite of passage into adulthood. The compound ibogaine has shown remarkable effects in preliminary studies for treating opioid addiction. Early clinical evidence suggests a single dose of ibogaine can significantly reduce opioid withdrawal symptoms and cravings for extended periods. Ibogaine is currently being researched as a potential breakthrough for the global opioid epidemic. A ceremonial plant from Gabon may hold the key to one of the most devastating addiction crises in modern history. Number 15. Honeybush, the sweet healer. Cyclopea intermedia, honeybush, grows only in the eastern Cape of South Africa. Like Rooibos, it is caffeine-free and rich in unique polyphenolic compounds. Research has shown antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and phytoestrogenic effects. Number 16. Sutherlandia, the cancer bush. Lycertia frutescens, known as the cancer bush, has been used in South African traditional medicine for fever, wounds, liver problems, and as a general immune tonic. Preliminary research has shown anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and anti-proliferative effects in cell studies. The name cancer bush is traditional, not a clinical claim. Number 17. Sceletium, the mood lifter. Sceletium tortuosum, known as canna, has been used by the San people for thousands of years to reduce stress, anxiety, and fatigue. In 2013, a clinical trial found that Sceletium extract significantly reduced anxiety in a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study. The compound mesembrine acts as a serotonin reuptake inhibitor, the same mechanism used by modern antidepressants known as selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. Number 18. Hoodia, the appetite plant. I told you at the beginning that number 18 caused an international legal battle. Here is the full story. Hoodia gordonii is a succulent native to the Kalahari Desert. The San people have chewed Hoodia for thousands of years to suppress hunger during long hunting trips across the desert. In 1996, South Africa's Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, the CSIR, patented the active compound P57 and licensed it to the pharmaceutical company Phytopharm, which then licensed it to Pfizer for development as an anti-obesity drug. The San people were not consulted. They were not compensated. They did not even know their traditional knowledge had been patented. When the story became public, it sparked an international debate about biopiracy, the practice of patenting traditional knowledge without the consent or benefit of the communities that developed it. After international pressure, the CSIR reached a benefit-sharing agreement with the San people in 2003, but the damage was done. The Hoodia case became the defining example of how the pharmaceutical industry can exploit indigenous knowledge. And it raised a question that applies to everything we have covered on this channel. Who owns ancient plant knowledge? The civilizations that discovered it, or the companies that patent it? And that completes our journey through 18 African medicinal plants the world forgot. Africa has the richest plant biodiversity on Earth. 80% of its population still uses traditional plant medicine daily. And yet, African traditional medicine receives less research funding than any other major traditional medicine system in the world. What has been studied is remarkable. A flower from Madagascar that transformed childhood cancer survival. A Kalahari painkiller that matched Vioxx. A West African seed that produces the precursor to serotonin. A Gabonese root that may help solve the opioid crisis. Imagine what remains undiscovered in the other 44,000 plant species that have never been tested. If this changed the way you think about African medicine, subscribe to the Green Domain. Next, we are exploring the ancient teas that civilizations drank as medicine, not as beverages. Drop a comment and tell me which African plant surprised you the most. And if you missed any of our civilization videos, all the links are in the description. Ancient wisdom, modern proof, real results. I will see you in the next one.